Giganotosaurus to the plate.
And welcome back, guys, to LeoGaming. If you haven't already guessed it, today's review is on Jurassic World Evolution in preparation for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Now, I do absolutely love the Jurassic World Evolution, as with the film franchise itself. I love all Planet Co. Frontier Development games, including Planet Coaster and obviously Jurassic World Evolution. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me get straight into the review. Jurassic World Evolution is a construction and management simulation developed and published by Frontier Developments and released in June of 2018. You are tasked to construct a dinosaur park on Las Cinco Muertes, the 5 islands from the films, also known as the 5 Deaths. Players are offered contracts to fulfill by 3 divisions: science, security and entertainment, and you are able to use more than 40 types of dinosaurs, including modification of their genes to create the ultimate beast. Roar! So to start off with, guys, we're going to be on the visuals, and we all know that with this game the best part is the dinosaurs all the way. Basically, the dinosaurs look fantastic. It was that sort of all the way down to the scales on their skins. It's almost like, for fans of Jurassic Park, we've been waiting for that dinosaur game that makes the dinosaurs look realistic. I mean, JPOG was good, but it still had a very cartoony feel about it. Whereas this is the game where the dinosaurs actually look and move realistically. Don't get me wrong, and they're not perfect in the visuals, but they do look pretty good. The buildings look detailed, although very generic. You could tell this is Frontier because they've basically used the very generic, almost Planet Coaster-esque style building that blue colour they use in Planet Coaster. They've definitely used that for the buildings here. There's no customization on them, which I was very disappointed, considering they did with Planet Coaster. I thought this would have that level of customization and design, but unfortunately it didn't. That, to me, was the biggest letdown with this game, was the customization of the buildings and scenery. You're basically going to be mainly in the rainforest and mountains, as with the 5 Death Islands from the films. That's the only sort of environment you're going to be looking at. But they still look very good, very Tropico-esque. It does remind me of a lot. There was one thing, I weren't sure whether to put this down as a mechanic, but to me it's a visual. It's basically where you get the viewing platforms and the attractions, and you see loads of, like, especially with the viewing galleries, you see like about 30 people walking through a door that doesn't open, in and out of a door that doesn't open. But when you look at the front of it, you see 2 or 3 people on the actual platform. It doesn't make sense. I'm really surprised that, I'm hoping with Jurassic World Evolution 2 especially, and I'm surprised they didn't do it with the first one, is they do like a Planet Coaster style queuing system. I don't understand why they don't. It's still an amusement park, technically. It's a zoo, and you still have to queue to get into these sort of attraction style things. So, and if they have to pay, there should be like a queuing system with someone standing there selling the tickets or taking the money. That's just another downfall I find with this game. There are a few, but I was thinking that's mechanic, but I would call that a visual because it's something you see. But apart from that, the visuals on this game are absolutely brilliant, I would say. They are really good graphics. Now, moving on to the sound. Obviously, we all love the Jurassic Park theme tune. It gives me such a nostalgic feeling from 1993 when I was a child. When I was, how old was I? 7 years old, going into that cinema with my mum. And that music coming on, it really sets the theme for the film. It matches the film. That's the sort of theme tune you cannot change through the entire film series, including all the Jurassic World films. It has to keep that theme tune. It's so recognisable. The dinosaur sounds match that of the films. Obviously, we all know Universal gave, basically, because there's the agreement between Universal and Frontier, Universal gave all the sound clips to Frontier to use. Obviously, Frontier would have, made some adjustments, slight tweaks here and there, but they're pretty much the same sounds from the films. You know, like the T-Rex roar, very sort of iconic roar that he has. Everything else has a sort of dramatic music as and when it's needed. For example, if a new dinosaur hatches and comes out of the hatchery, you get the bit of dramatic music. If a dinosaur breaks out, you get that bit of dramatic music. As you know, it comes as and when it's required during missions and stuff like that. The ambient sounds is good when you're zoomed in. I would imagine the ambience comes from the films as well. Although I'm guessing they would have added their own little bit of ambience. It sounds good. You hear the birds tweaking, the wind, the rain, and all that sort of stuff. The voice acting is okay, but it sounds forced. When I say that, I mean including the actors that are in the films that are part of the game. It sounds forced in terms of they know it's a game and it's only a game to them. Does that make sense? It sounds very cheesy and very forced and very like, oh, it's only just a game. Let's just be cheesy about it, that sort of thing. That's what I felt with this game, with the voice acting on this game. Apart from that, it's okay. Everything else with the sound is absolutely fine. I haven't spotted any really big flaws with the sound. In terms of mechanics, guys, you've got a campaign mode, challenge mode and sandbox mode. Obviously sandbox is pretty self-explanatory, although you can't use every dinosaur until you've unlocked them in campaign mode. So don't try and jump straight into sandbox expecting to have every dinosaur unlocked, because that ain't going to happen. Challenge mode is where you basically set your own challenges on each island, and you unlock certain skins for different dinosaurs after each challenge. It's okay. I haven't really played that. I've just played the campaign and sandbox mode because it's just a bit more fun. The challenge mode bores me. So in terms of the campaign, you play through story missions on each island, using the 3 different divisions that you've got to try and build your reputation up on. And they will set you various mini challenges, but each one on each island will give you a main challenge, a bigger challenge, which is like a 3-step process to complete. And after that, you will gain a star, a reward, and it will help you in your progress towards unlocking the next island. You technically have to do all 3 main missions to unlock the next island. These missions can vary from something like plant a dinosaur with 72% attack in one of the holds, pens, whatever you want to call it. Forgot the name. And that will it might strike down with a disease, and you have to react quickly to stop it. There's variations. It's a little bit creative. There are some creative missions within it. You also get to place buildings and fences down. Standard, you would expect that, I would have thought, from a management simulator. Like I say, the placement of the buildings is a bit tricky. It does get a bit fiddly in terms of just the sort of land. It's really sensitive in terms of if there's a bush on the ground, it doesn't want to place it, or if the ground's slightly elevated, it doesn't want to place it. Or if it is elevated and it does place it, it then completely distorts the ground around it and then just ruins the path, the level of the path that's running beside it. So there are various things with this that are a bit finicky. You lay the fences. Fences are pretty easy. You can lay a fence down within about 15 seconds. You also get to place electric power stations. These obviously serve the purpose as what it says. They provide the electric, where you've got to connect the pylons and the substations around the park in order to run power to each building. Within the electric, it sort of has 60 watts output, and obviously each building and each leisure thing will take up a certain amount of that output before you have to build another power station. You also get the hatchery. The hatchery is basically what it was in JPOG, and it's the same design as well. For some reason, hatcheries look like this in Jurassic Park. Is that a standard building with a little garden and a load of trees in it, and a big door leading into the into the enclosure. Is for some reason that's the standard hatchery for Jurassic Park. I don't know why. I thought Jurassic World Evolution might sort of change it up a bit from JPOG, but they've literally copied the design from JPOG. But obviously hatchery, you can upgrade that to have more of a success rate with your animals that you want to hatch. And you can add various little perks to it that you will grab from the research center. So the research center gives you various options of things to research: building upgrades, fencing upgrades, cosmetic upgrades, gene upgrades, new buildings, and just various different upgrades that you unlock throughout the levels. You don't unlock them all on the first level. You pretty much takes through all 5 islands before you unlock them all, which is pretty good. And it's the same with the ACU Centre and the Ranger Station. You can unlock perks for that. So the Ranger Station is the driving, the vehicle you use to drive to cure the animals of disease or send them to sleep. No, not send them to sleep. That's the ACU. Now, basically cure the animals of any diseases, which you can take over yourself and do it yourself. I don't. I just find that boring. It doesn't really entertain me that bit. So I've never really used that feature myself. Same with the ACU. The ACU unit is for any escaped dinosaurs, or if you want to put any dinosaurs to sleep, you use the helicopter, which is the ACU unit, which again, you can use yourself, which is a bit more exciting than the driving one. I have used that because that's just a bit more exciting, flying and that stuff like that. You also have an expedition center, which you send out across different plots on the map, on the world map, different locations to scout for fossils. Obviously, various fossils unlock for each level. Again, you don't get them all straight away. You have to work your way up to that. And you will unlock various different fossils throughout the game. And from when you send out your expedition, so a helicopter will just fly off into the distance, come back in about 3 minutes, and you'll have a fossil center. You must make sure you've got a fossil center with the expedition center, because the fossil center is where they store the fossils, and you will then basically break down gain the DNA from the fossils and increase the amount of data you have for that specific dinosaur. So yeah, is quite a few bits in terms of mechanics. In terms of the gameplay, it's okay. It's your standard management sim. There's a lot of things I think Jurassic World Evolution could have been better at. The AI of the for some reason, right, basically the guests that come in, there seems to be more scientists than there does actually seem to be guests. All you see is scientists walking around. And like I mentioned before, you get about 30 people walking into a viewing gallery, but only 2 on the platform itself. Just little things like that. I just felt like the guests could have been more, I keep saying it, more Planet Coastery. It just feels like there was a lot of things they could have done better on this game. They're just the guests, you don't really notice they're there. The guests just seem pointless in this game, really, for me. I just didn't really feel like, and the customization, it doesn't really, like, you feel like there's no way of separating these industrial buildings like the research center, stuff like that, from the main guest area. It doesn't feel like there's any way of doing that. It just feels like guests are walking past some big electric box. Do you see what I mean? There's no massive customization within this game, and I think there was a lot of things that did let it down that it could have been way better at. Also, when the game first released, you did not get a day-night cycle, which was really odd. You got sunny weather, rainy weather, stormy weather, but you didn't get a day-night cycle, which was really strange considering a lot of the film is based the films are based during the night time as well, because that's the most scary part to see dinosaurs, especially the velociraptors. I must admit, though, I do like just hatching a T-Rex and just listening to him and watching the T-Rex roam around and hunt goats, or knocking a wall. You can have some fun with this game, knocking walls down and letting the T-Rex roam around and eat some guests. You also get some entertainment buildings as well. You get a clothes shop, fast food shop, a hat shop, a gift shop, a restroom, just the very basic stuff, which again the variation and options of buildings is absolute crap on this game. I'll be honest with you. I almost feel like not even bothering with them because they just don't blend in. I just find this game, the buildings don't blend in. They've tried to use Planet Coaster generic buildings to match in with this environment. It just doesn't work. Like the customizable options, and it just looks odd with these sort of leisure buildings that just look out of place in my eyes. Anyway, guys, that is my review for So guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like my content and you would like to see more, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also click on the notification bell to keep bang up to date with when I release a video. Also, don't forget to check out my previous video, a review in 2021 of Far Cry 5, which is up on your screens right now. Anyway guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your weeks, and I will see you soon. Love you all. Bye.